What's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find us album reviews. You can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I just went to go see Dance Gavin Dance, and I got the full lineup on that. So live videos will be going out hopefully this weekend, maybe next week, as well as I got an interview with CNVAR, so that will be going out very shortly as well. I posted an album review of Dance Gavin Dance's new record, and I may do a few more here and there, so definitely be on the lookout for that, as well as an awesome interview with All Systems No that goes out today as well. But tonight we're going to be talking about Sundressed and Nominee's new split EP. They're self-titled. I want to give a shout out to Outer Loop Recordings. Thanks for sending this over a bit early. I always love getting stuff from them. I feel like they got a really great roster, and they did not pay me to say that whatsoever. I think I've been a fan of their roster for way longer than they had been sending me stuff, so much love to them. But I had never checked out Nominee or Sundressed before I listened to this split, so I'll have to go back and check out previous works that they've done. If you have heard of these bands and you have listened to both of these bands, let me know in the comments what you think about them, what I should check out, because I liked both of those bands individually, and I feel like they put out a really good split EP that I will go into. So I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on them, go through some pros and cons, and then finish it out with an overall rating. So the first track is called Postcards, and this one is by Sundressed. I put the names across on the side just so people know who did what song, but I figure I'd put that in there. But getting back to the song, this one definitely gave me that sort of Weezer vibe to it, which I totally dig. Those were one of those bands that I grew up with, and it just has that nostalgic pull to it, which I absolutely love. The harmonization in the pre-chorus is a really nice touch. I feel like not a lot of bands do that. I feel like it's more prevalent in pop punk too, which they are definitely a part of, but I feel like it doesn't get utilized as much, so I love hearing that. It definitely gives me another band that I grew up listening to, Relient K. It has that sort of nostalgic pull to it, and I think they just nailed it very much so. This track has a really cool melody to it, has a mellow vibe to it as well. The chorus is definitely the highlight of the song. This one, it took me a little bit of a while to warm up to, but I definitely feel like it is a solid track. Despite it not being one of my favorites, I think it's one that you should definitely go check out. I think it was one of the singles that they had released with a music video, so check that out if you get the chance to. But the second track off this split is called Show Up, and this one is also by Sundressed. This one has a great sort of pop punk vibe to it. Certainly has some points where it sounds like State Champs, a little bit of Blink 182, and I'm talking about like older Blink 182. I'm not talking about modern Blink 182, but I definitely enjoy that. The dual vocals on this track definitely are sick. I feel like they work very well and in tandem together, and they really complement each other. It's definitely one of my favorite tracks off this split EP so far. It just kind of highlights the best aspects of Sundressed. It's super catchy, just from the instrumentation to the vocals. I feel like they just absolutely killed it on this track. It's one of those things where, you know, it's one of those like earworm sort of moments where every time I listen to this track, I was humming that melody or singing that along with the chorus. I feel like, you know, that's the sign of a really great track. And, you know, nonetheless to this one, I think that they really did a phenomenal job. So we're gonna move into track number 3, which is So Poetic. This one is also by Sundressed. This one, you definitely get more of the vocals and the little nuances that the different vocals have on this track, which is definitely nice. And I feel like with the two vocalists, or the two vocals that go on, it's definitely a good way to, you know, sort of distinguish and pick out the two different vocal styles. While they have kind of a similarity to them, they also have just the uniqueness of people's different voices, so I definitely appreciate that in this track. The chorus is definitely infectious in this track as well. definitely also digging the change in the rhythm in the second verse. It kind of has that fast sort of punk beat to it, which is really cool. And I think it shows a lot of diversity, a little bit of flair too here and there, which is always nice. And this one has more of a rock and alternative feel. The bridge is absolutely one of my favorite parts of this track. It feels like the focal point of this song, and it kind of plays into that more nominee sort of vibe. Maybe not, maybe in their sort of interpretation of it, but I think it really worked out well in the song. This one is another favorite of mine as well. I just feel like the melodies worked really well. Just everything in tandem worked beautifully. So we're gonna move into track number 4, which is Lock and Key, and this one is by Nominee. That kind of rhymed a little bit, but I love the instrumentation of this song. It has this awesome swing to it. The song definitely has that story so far, older sort of neck deep sort of feel to it, which again, not hating on, definitely appreciate that. I also love just the emotiveness of this band. I feel like the vocals really kind of, push that emotive feeling to it, which I am a fan of. I feel like, if you're a fan of the story so far, you're gonna definitely fall in love with this sort of stuff. And I love how the vocalist kind of goes from those really tender moments where he doesn't have that sort of grit to his vocals, but just in an instant he can turn on that like grit, and I think that shows the sign of a really great vocalist, and I appreciate that. Just kind of breaks up the mold, and I know that a lot of bands, not a lot of bands, but I feel like a good majority of the bands have that sort of vibe to it, but I feel like it's hard to do. It's easy to do, but it's hard to perfect, and I feel like this band definitely is on the road to that perfective way. But I definitely appreciate that the melodies in this track were really great, and just almost feel a little bit underrated in this song, just because you're kind of toned into the more aggressive, more rock nature of this track. I just feel like, it's just a little bit swept under the rug, but I feel like, without it would have been a little bit bland. So we're gonna move into track number 5, the last track off of this split, which is called Heatwave, and this one is also by Nominee as well. If you thought Lock and Key had a strong story so far feel to it, this one will definitely ring those stories so far bells in your head. Vocally, it definitely reminds me of Parker for sure. And at some points, it also reminds me a lot of Trash Boat, which is another great pop punk band. If you haven't heard of them already, go check it out. Their new record is going to be coming out really soon. But getting back to Nominee, I think that this band definitely has those sorts of vibes to it, which again, much like the last track, I really love and adore for sure. There's a nice counterbalance of aggressiveness, but also a good amount of melody as well, much like in Lock and Key. There's some really cool instrumentations, especially the lead guitar parts. They really add this awesome sort of atmosphere to the track that, again, I felt like would have been lacking if it didn't, exist in this song. The bridge has this really cool kind of build up moment to it. It really doesn't fruition into one big moment, but it has that sort of build up that is really nice. I feel like it ends this split on a high note for sure, and this track is definitely my favorite out of the Nominee tracks for sure. So some pros and cons. I feel like there's a nice balance between both bands where you can kind of get an idea, if you haven't heard of them already, what they sound like, what the vibes are. Obviously this is their most recent stuff, so it's probably what they're gonna sound like in the future, which is always cool. I think it is a great split, if I didn't already mention that already. There's a diverse range of sounds, everything from Story So Far, Neck Deep, Trash Boat, to like Weezer, Blink 182, State Champs. So really running the gambit of like I don't know why I was gonna say post-hardcore, really running the gambit of pop punk and like alternative sorts of music. Vocally, I feel like it's great. Each vocalist has a different sort of flair to what they do. Sundressed feels like more harmonies, more melody based stuff, and Nominee feels more like rock, more aggressive, which is again really great. And then instrumentally, I think it's really solid. I think there isn't anything that really kind of blew me out of the water, but at the same point, I think that they do it well, they do it solid. So I appreciate that. One con that I do have is that I would have loved if they really kind of worked together on one track. I don't know if they did that. It didn't mention it in their press at all, so I didn't know if they were both in the studio at the same time doing these tracks or if they did them separately. By the way, they did it with Chris Crummett, one of my favorite producers, so definitely love his work. But getting back to the bands, I feel like it would have been cool if they collabed on like one track, and it would have been like the ending track, like track number 6 off the EP. I think that would have rounded out the record well, and it would have kind of brought, you know, people from the Sundress camp over to Nominee and vice versa. You know, obviously considering that I haven't heard from either band before, I think that is a cool moment with each band to have their each separate songs, but I would have loved if they did a split song together. I think that that would have worked out beautifully, and I think it would have ended off the EP in an even better way than Heatwave, without a doubt. But my overall rating for Sundressed and Nominee's split title self-titled EP, which is also a split, I'm going to be giving it a 9.4 out of 10. I think it's one you should check out. These are both bands that, again, I had never heard of, but I definitely love each aspect of their band, so I'm excited to see them. I know Sundress is coming to Philly really soon, so I'm gonna have to go out and see them live. Nominee, I don't know, but if they do come to my area, I will be sure to go check them out as well. Links are in the description for both bands, so definitely check them both out. This album slash EP slash split comes out today, so go pick it up on Outer Loop. Really solid pop punk alternative record that I feel like everybody should check out. Also, let me know in the comments what your favorite tracks were. I'd really love to know. I think it is diverse, and I'm excited to see what other people think about this split EP as well. But if you enjoyed any of this, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, share it around. It goes a long way. Thank you guys for the support. I will be announcing new stuff very shortly, so definitely be on the lookout for that. And like I said, my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps out our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com, and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.